This is not an intro, this is a notice to let you know that there are timestamps in the description box below. So, if there's a particular legend that you want to learn about, hit those timestamps and it will magically take you to the guide for that specific legend. Or, you can watch every single legend guide because I do explain why that legend works with the next legend that you're about to watch. I explain their abilities and why they work with each other and things like that. So yeah, go ahead and watch them. But if you don't want to, it's up to you, it's your life. Like, I'm not really going to force you to do anything, but I am going to force you to do, you know, hit that like and subscribe and hit that bell button right now to get notified. Enjoy the video, guys. Peace.
Do you want to be able to escape when you get caught inside a toxic gas? Do you want to be able to harm enemies while they're inside Gibraltar's annoying dome shield? Or most importantly, do you want to play a legend that's both effective and fun? Well, if the answer is yes, then you're in the right place. Everyone, meet Fade, every other legend's worst nightmare. There is no discussion about it. Fade is incredibly useful and super fun to play with. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right in. Fade is a master of movement. His entire ability set revolves around movement, starting off with his passive ability Slipstream. After you slide, you will get a 15% movement speed boost that will last for 4 seconds. This ability has a cooldown though, but only 10 seconds. So basically, every 10 seconds you can get a nice movement speed boost that you can use to either close gaps, dodge bullets, or simply travel around with. Once the cooldown is finished, these flame thingies will pop out if you're playing in TPP, or this animation will take place if you're in FPP, telling you that the skill is ready to use again. This is absolutely amazing for players that really love the movement aspect of Apex Legends Mobile. Then, we have his insane tactical ability, Flashback. Upon using Flashback, Fade will travel into the void where he cannot be hit or killed, and he will also travel backwards to where he was at 5 seconds ago, all in a short space of 3 seconds. So not only will you get pulled back to where you were 5 seconds ago, this will also take place in 3 seconds. To top this all off, using Flashback will also reload both of your weapons as you travel back, and you can also use it even when you're on a zipline. I literally cannot express how amazing this ability is. You can use it to either escape danger or scout, where you basically run out to see where the enemies are and then flashback straight away once you've seen them. Or if you ever get caught and slowed inside Caustic's toxic gas, you can very easily pull yourself back out to safety. This is the single ability that made me love Fade from the moment I played with him. Very, very fun to use. And lastly, his ultimate ability, Phase Chamber. This ability is freaking epic in every single way. Okay, let's go with the basics first though. Fade can throw this bracelet thing super far, and when it lands, it will create a dome with a massive 20-meter radius that has multiple effects. When it lands, it will instantly deal 10 damage and slow enemies that get caught with it. Then, whoever is still in the dome area, friendly or enemy, after 2 seconds will get sucked into the void for 4 seconds. Once in the void, players are unable to use any skill or weapons or leave until the timer runs out. Enemies that are transferred into the void are slowed, but teammates or Fade himself will not be slowed. And once players are in the void, they cannot be hit or killed at all. After 4 seconds, players that are in the void will be sent back out and any slow effects will end. When you send enemies into the void and Fade doesn't travel with them, enemies will be highlighted and marked so you can see them for the entire duration that they are inside the void, allowing you to easily take them out when they pop back out. This ultimate has a crazy short cooldown as well. It only has a 90-second cooldown. And check this out. It will hit and affect players even if they are behind the wall, or even players that are inside Gibraltar's dome shield, which subsequently makes Fade a direct counter against one of the best legends in the game, that is Gibraltar. Absolutely insane. Bangalore can light up an entire city with one ultimate ability. She can create cover when there isn't one anywhere in the field. Bangalore is absolutely insane for those aggressive type players. Only problem is, both her active abilities can also negatively affect you and your team if used incorrectly. But don't worry though guys, as the title says, this is a Bangalore's guide. I will teach you everything that you need to know about Bangalore, ready for you to bomb your way through to becoming a champion. Starting with her passive ability, ability, Double Time. This passive is absolutely incredible. This is actually one of the best passive abilities in the game. When Bangalore is shot at or thrown a grenade, arc star, or thermite at, Bangalore gets a 30% movement speed boost for 4 seconds. With this being a passive ability, this is just triggered automatically, so it could serve as an absolutely amazing indicator when someone is trying to kill you. In Apex Legends Mobile, every time you get a movement speed boost, you can climb walls faster, which means you can climb a little bit higher. Great for climbing small walls and or escaping danger. So make sure that when this passive ability kicks in, that you make the most out of it. You can use this to either push enemies or quickly run away from danger. Then we have the smoke launcher, Bangalore's tactical ability. Bangalore can shoot a gas grenade to create cover in a form of a thick smoke that covers a huge area. Bangalore can carry up to 2 canisters, which she can fire one after another, with each canister having a separate 30-second cooldown, which means as soon as she fires one canister, the cooldown starts for that particular canister straight away, and she can have it back without even firing the second canister. Pro tip: Bangalore can heal or reload during the tactical activation animation, and likewise, she can also use her tactical ability while she's healing or reloading. So when your HP is low and you need to heal, just start healing, pop the smoke, and get yourself healed back up. Please be mindful when using this around your teammates though. It can get very annoying for them. It can also disrupt their plans and even get them killed. Bangalore's tactical ability works absolutely fantastic with Bloodhound's tactical scan ability. I strongly recommend for you to watch my Bloodhound guide right after this video. Rolling Thunder ultimate ability. This right here is how you blow up an entire city with one click. Bangalore can call down an airstrike to cause absolute mayhem and destruction in an area. Right, so what you need to do is throw the flare down. Once the flare hits the surface, you've got to wait for about 5 seconds. The missiles will then start dropping into place. Wait for about another 7 seconds, and then it's boom time, baby. The area of effect that this ultimate ability has is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the entire game. Not only does it damage enemies, it also slows them down too, which is also a part of the drawback of this ultimate ability. If your teammates don't get out in time, they will also get slowed, which can be very, very bad for them. And not only this, it also slows you down and damages you, so you can literally kill yourself with your own ability. So please guys, use it wisely, will ya? I told you Bangalore's a banger. You know what? She's even more of a banger with Bloodhound, so watch this video now and find out why. Bloodhound by far is the best hunter in the game. Because of his absolutely beastie kit, no one can hide from Bloodhound. His entire set of abilities allows for different playstyles such as aggressive, support, or even an IGL, which is an in-game leader. However, because of the amount of information that Bloodhound can gather, he can be a little bit overwhelming for a new player. You also need to time his abilities to not waste them, and his tactical ability alone can even give your position away. But don't worry guys, what I'll do is go over and explain everything for you so you can unleash this beast and hunt everybody down. Starting with his passive ability, Tracker. This is the single most informative ability in the entire game. Tracker provides enemy intel that took place in an area within the last 90 seconds. From enemy reloading to healing, you'll know exactly what happened and where they happened. The more red the indicator means the more recent that action took place. Pro tip though guys, do not spend the entire time reading what the icon means. Just figure out how recent they've been there and get ready to hunt. Then we have Eye of the Allfather, Bloodhound's tactical scan ability. With this ability, Bloodhound can scan up to 75 meters in a dome area in front of him. This ability scans and highlights enemies and traps like Wattson's electric fence in real time, which means you and your team can see enemy movements while they are highlighted. It literally does not matter if an entire building is blocking your line of sight, you will still see them. This ability actually works perfectly with Bangalore's tactical ability, Smoke Launcher. Get Bangalore to pop a smoke, then you can highlight the enemy with Bloodhound scan to take them out. This tactical ability has a 25-second cooldown, and one very important thing to remember when using this scan, see that dome thing in front of you that pops out whenever you scan? Enemies can see that, which means they can see where the scan came from, giving your position away. So you've got to be prepared for retaliation whenever you use your scan and then start to push. Beast of the Hunt.
Yes, this ultimate is as beastie as it sounds. This ability alone allows Bloodhound to be played very aggressively. The first thing you'll notice upon using Beast of the Hunt is that your vision will turn black and white. However, the enemies stay highlighted in orange while teammates are highlighted in blue. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Bloodhound also gets a 30% movement speed boost for the entire duration of the ultimate. This is something that allows Bloodhound to chase enemies down. Not only that, this ability also allows Bloodhound to run 30% faster for the longest time with one skill activation out of all the legends in the game. Or you could use it to run away and escape to safety if and when needed. It's not always about pushing. On top of all this, during the ultimate duration, his scan cooldown drops from 25 seconds down to 6 seconds, allowing him to scan much more frequently. And last but definitely not the least, the initial duration of Beast of the Hunt lasts for 35 seconds, which can be extended whenever you knock an enemy down. My absolute pro tip of when to use this ultimate, because of the fact that it has a 3-minute cooldown, you have to time the use of it right or waste it. Use it right after a scan, right before a push. This ability also works perfectly with Octane's jump pad. Watch this video to find out why. Octane is one of the most used and most fun legends in the game. You either love him and you main him, or you don't use him and you absolutely hate him. Either way, because of the fact that he is the most used legend in the game, you definitely need to learn about him. However, even though Octane is actually really easy and really fun to use, you still need to be careful when using him. His tactical and ultimate ability can both lead you into trouble if you're not careful. But worry you shall not. Your boy Ice is here to show you the ropes. Starting with his passive ability, Swiftman. This one's actually fairly simple. Octane regenerates health when he's out of combat. The way that it works is that once he's out of combat for at least 9 seconds, his health will then regenerate for 1 HP per second. It's actually very simple, but it is super helpful, especially when it comes to the fact that whenever Octane uses his tactical ability, he loses HP. Which brings me to my next point, Stim. Tactical ability. This is the one single ability that makes Octane both hella fun to play and very annoying to deal with as an enemy. Upon using this tactical ability, Octane will gain 30% movement speed boost at the cost of his health. And listen to this. This tactical ability only has a 2-second cooldown. Yes, you can literally, as an Octane, stim up 2 seconds after your initial stim finishes. This is why he is so annoying to fight, because imagine doing a lot of damage on his Octane and then suddenly he stims up and just runs away. Yep, hella annoying. But this is also why he is very fun to play. Whenever Octane uses his stim, it uses 20% of his HP. So be very careful when using this. Don't just keep spamming it and run into a fight, because if your shield breaks, you're basically going to be one tap. On top of this, using the stim reduces the amount of slow that is applied on Octane during the stim status. Stim can also remove any slow effects that is applied on Octane on use. Even though stim uses 20% of HP every time you use it, Octane cannot actually kill himself through stim overdose. The lowest he will ever drop is 1 HP. And last but not the least on this tactical ability, whenever your weapon is holstered, put away and you're running, a further 15% movement speed boost gets added on top of the 30% movement speed boost. So when you're running, stim up and you will get a massive 45% movement speed boost. Insane. Jump pad ultimate ability. The best form of rotation in Apex Legends Mobile. This is what makes Octane special. In basic terms, drop a launch pad that will launch players high in the air. Once the player is launched in the air, this activates a new feature called double jump. Press the jump button again after being launched in the air to be able to jump mid-air for further travel distance. Because of the double jump feature, players can also air strafe into the air, meaning they can turn to a direction before they tap the jump button again, and they will get launched to that new direction. There are actually 3 ways to get launched by the launch pad, which unfortunately I don't have clips for, but I can explain it, so I will. Running or sprinting onto the jump pad will launch you onto a high arc. If you crouch or slide onto it, you would get launched much lower, but you will travel farther. And lastly, if you use the momentum that you get from the end of doing a melee attack, you will get launched 90 degrees upwards, so you can basically go up and then straight back down onto the launch pad and just keep bouncing for as long as you want. Not actually many people know this. The launch pad has 200 HP, which means it can be destroyed. It can even launch various objects such as Caustic's Nox gas trap into the air. And last but definitely not the least, this ability created the best duo combo in Apex Legends Mobile, the Revtane combo. This is basically a combo where Revenant and Octane are in the same team. Right after using Revenant's Death Totem ultimate, Revtane can go in for a push using the jump pad. Find out how Revenant's ultimate works in this video.
Revenant can run inside a building full of enemies, die, and come back out alive. Wait, what? Yup. Revenant can even completely prevent every legend from using their abilities. He is absolutely insane. The only problem is, his abilities aren't exactly as straightforward as you would like them to be. Revenant needs more practice time than most legends in a game. Let's put it this way, he's not exactly plug-and-play material. But after this guide, you'll know Revenant inside out and you'll be able to play God mode in Apex Legends Mobile. So what the hell are we waiting for? Let's get straight to it then. Starting with his passive ability, Stalker. This ability alone instantly makes Revenant absolutely fantastic. Climbing is a huge part of Apex Legends Mobile, and having the natural ability to climb walls higher and faster is highly advantageous. Revenant has the ability to crouch walk faster and climb walls higher and faster with this passive ability. Let's put it this way, healing while crouch walking has the same speed as walking upwards without even healing. Revenant's climbing speed decelerates much slower, meaning he can actually climb small objects like, the small fences much quicker than any other legend in the game. Revenant's passive ability allows him to quickly sneak into enemy base without even being heard. This passive ability also works perfectly with his ultimate ability, which I'll cover in a minute. Because next up, his tactical ability, Silence. This ability alone makes Revenant a hard counter against every single legend in the game, including another Revenant. Revenant can shoot an orb that silences enemies that it comes in contact with. Silenced enemies cannot use any of their abilities for 20 seconds. Passive abilities also get disabled. However, silence does not affect abilities that are already in use. It only prevents them from using it in the future. The perfect example is when Gibby's already got his ADS shield up, Revenant cannot actually cancel that, but when he puts that shield down, he cannot put it back up for another 20 seconds. The orb deals a small damage of 10 HP on impact, and Revenant can carry 2 charges of orbs at the same time. Each orb has an individual 20-second cooldown, which means as soon as he fires one orb, the cooldown for that orb will start straight away. He doesn't need to fire his second orb for the cooldown to start. The orb stays in place for 10 seconds where it makes first contact with either a surface or an enemy, and while stationary, the orb can still damage and silence enemies that comes close to it. So this is perfect for forward planning, such as like shoot the orb in front of a doorway so no one can really go past it, and if they did, they're going to be silenced. And here's one very important note that you need to remember when using this tactical ability. You can silence yourself if you get too close to your own orb. Death Totem ultimate ability. Revenant can place down a death totem that offers a second life. Upon totem placement, Revenant automatically goes into death protection mode. His teammates can also actually go into death protection mode by walking up to the totem and using it. Players that enter death protection mode will respawn back to where the totem is if and when they die. It's not actually as simple as that though. Here's where things get complicated. Let me break it down for you so you understand it. During death protection mode, players are granted 100 HP and shield is fully disabled. If a player dies while in death protection mode, they will respawn back with their previous shield health if they had any, as well as 50 base HP. If the timer runs out and the player doesn't die, they will continue exactly where they are with no shield and whatever base HP they currently have. Which means if someone gets your HP down to about 10 HP and the timer runs out, the totem disappears and you stay exactly where you are with just 10 HP. So the best thing to do is when you have really low health is to try and find a way to kill yourself, like with a grenade or something, and respawn back at the totem before it expires. The totem has 100 health and can also be seen glowing by the enemies, and if the totem gets destroyed, death protection mode finishes. Players are unable to heal while in death protection mode, and death protection mode can only be activated once per player. Death protection timer gets extended by 30 seconds for every time a player activates death protection. This ultimate is perfect for rotation expert legends such as Octane and Wraith. Find out why in this video. Wraith is one of the best legends in Apex Legends Mobile. No legend is actually bad, but some are just better than others. Wraith simply has one of the best set of abilities, which not only make her extremely useful, but they also make her very fun to play with. As great as she sounds though, she's not immortal. No legend is. But you still need to understand her abilities to avoid getting caught in her blind spot. This video will teach you everything you need to know about Wraith so you can destroy everyone in Apex Legends Mobile and send everyone to the void. Right then, starting off with Voices from the Void, Wraith's incredible passive ability. Wraith will speak out loud warning you of nearby enemy threats. Wraith will basically call out commands something like,
"You're in view of the enemy. I have a feeling someone's watching us.
That sort of thing. All of which needs a clear line of sight between Wraith and the enemies. This passive ability is extremely useful in every situation, so make sure you pay attention to this. Into the Void, Wraith's infamous tactical ability. In short, Wraith can travel into the Void, become indestructible, and gain movement speed boost all at the same time. Into the Void lasts 5 seconds, has a 25-second cooldown, provides a 30% movement speed boost, and Wraith's hitbox completely disappears, meaning she cannot be hit at all. Not even the ring damage can hurt Wraith while she's in the Void. During this ability, Wraith becomes almost invisible. She turns into nothing but a stream of blue light. But enemy players can see this, so they can see exactly where you are and where you'll pop back out when the ability finishes. So be very careful when using this ability. One more thing, there's a 2-second animation delay whenever you use this skill. At the very start, when the animation kicks in, you are slowed during this period, which makes you very vulnerable and easy to kill. So don't just mindlessly use this in front of an enemy. Dimensional Rift. Ultimate ability, one of the best rotation tools in Apex Legends Mobile. Wraith can create 2 portals that players can travel to and from. Upon triggering the ability, Wraith places the first portal at her current location. The second portal can be placed in 2 different ways. Manual activation by pressing the Alt button again places the second portal at Wraith's current location, or whenever her Rift energy runs out, the second portal will automatically be placed at her current location. Let me explain the Rift energy mechanics. Upon activation of this ultimate ability, Wraith enters Rift mode. During this mode, Wraith will start with 100 Rift energy. Rift energy depletes as Wraith moves in any direction. 100% Rift energy allows a distance of up to 75 meters for traveling. And quick pro tip, when above 95% Rift energy, Wraith can cancel her entire ultimate by pressing the cancel button. By doing this, the ability's cooldown will not activate, meaning she can use it again straight away. All players, including enemies, are able to use the portals. During void travel between the 2 portals, players are completely indestructible and cannot be hit. The portals do not need any surface to be placed on. They can literally be created anywhere, anything from like 20 foot off the ground or on top of a building. The portals last for 60 seconds and the timer becomes invisible when you get close to the portal. When in ult mode, Wraith cannot travel into any other rift such as her enemy's rift. This ultimate ability is absolutely perfect with Revenant's Death Totem ultimate. Revenant can go drop his totem, players go into death protection mode, Wraith drops a portal near the totem, go push the enemies, drop the second portal just before you get to the enemies in a safe spot, get the enemies as low as you can or try and kill them. If not, go die, respawn back into the portal. From there, you'll have Wraith's portal to use to rush back into the fight quickly and finish the fight. One of the best combos in the game right now. This ultimate also works amazingly with Caustic and his traps. Find out how in this video. Meet the most toxic legend in the game. No joke. Caustic's entire ability set revolves around toxic gas. Definitely one of the hardest legends to fight in Apex Legends Mobile. However, even though he makes a very tough enemy to beat, he is not the easiest to use. There's a few mechanics that you need to learn first before you can make him work. And that's exactly what this video is for. I'll teach you everything you need to know about Caustic so you can run around and scare people away or kill them. Starting off with his passive ability, Nox Vision. This is actually super straightforward. Caustic gets an enhanced enemy vision when they are caught inside a toxic gas. Enemies are highlighted in neon green whilst they remain inside a toxic gas. And when I say toxic gas, it does not matter whether it's your toxic gas or an enemy toxic gas. On top of all this, enemy gas has no effect on you. Nox Gas Trap, tactical ability, the thing that people hate to see. Caustic can throw gas traps down which releases toxic smoke that will damage and slow enemies down. The toxic gas will deal damage to enemies for every second that they are inside a gas. Enemies caught inside a gas are also slowed for as long as they remain inside the gas. Caustic can carry up to 3 canisters that he can throw one after another in quick succession, while allowing you to drop a maximum of 6 gas traps anywhere on the map. These traps will automatically release their toxic gas when an enemy gets close, or you can manually activate them by shooting this base part of the trap after the pop-up animation is finished. The gas's damage per tick increases for every 2 ticks and deals direct damage to the base HP, fully ignoring any shields. Yup, you can literally kill someone without even damaging their shields at all. You can pick back up a trap that you've already placed down and get a charge back, as long as it hasn't released its gas yet. And lastly, for those with a good aim and good reflexes, as Caustic throws them down onto the floor, you can shoot them while they're in midair to destroy them. Next up, Nox Gas Grenade Ultimate.
The most terrifying thing about Caustic. This is the single ability that allows Caustic to be played very aggressively, which also happens to be one of the simplest abilities to use in the entire game. Caustic can throw a gas grenade that slows and damages enemies in a very, very large area. The damage and slow works exactly like the NOS gas traps. However, this thing has a 40-meter radius. That is literally twice as big as the area that his tactical ability covers. Not only this, NOS gas grenade also has a higher damage per tick than the NOS gas traps. And check this out. The grenade will explode and release the gas immediately after impact. Yep, all you literally gotta do is throw the grenade and it will explode straight away. This ultimate ability literally requires no IQ to play. Simply run up to an enemy, throw the gas grenade, and then finish the enemy off. That is it. And likewise, when you see an enemy Caustic, just expect one of these to be thrown at you. Caustic's ultimate and tactical abilities work extremely well with Wraith's portals. Wraith can open one side of her portal right next to Caustic's trap, so if an enemy decides to chase you into the portal, a deadly trap will be waiting for them. Caustic's tactical ability also works insanely well with Gibraltar's tactical ability. Find out exactly how in this video. Gibraltar, also known as Gibby. Gibby is arguably the best legend in Apex Legends Mobile. His ability set is the reason why he is, and most likely will always be, a top tier legend. He does, however, have a few blind spots that you need to know. Things that can expose himself and his teammates during gunfights. In this video, I'll not only talk about how great Gibby is, but also show you his weak points so you can minimize their exposure. Likewise, you'll get to know how to exploit these weaknesses whenever you fight a Gibby. Starting off with his passive ability, Gun Shield, the ability that literally turns Gibby into a meat shield. While aiming down sight, Gibraltar deploys a shield installed on his offhand that will block incoming damage. The shield will cover Gibby's upper body area but does not protect his legs or his head. The shield has 50 HP and has a 9-second cooldown if it ever gets destroyed. This light green button icon will appear in your HUD when the shield is either taking damage or is regenerating. The shield can still be deployed even if the region hasn't fully finished yet. And lastly, the shield will not cover Gibraltar's legs even when he is crouching down. So whenever you fight a Gibby, just aim for the head or the legs for more consistent damage. Dome of Protection, Gibraltar's infamous tactical ability. This right here is the reason as to why Gibby is right at the top of the list. Gibby can throw a disc on a surface to create a dome shield that will block all incoming damage and all outgoing projectiles. The dome lasts for 12 seconds, has a 30-second cooldown, and is completely indestructible during the 12 seconds. Gibby can revive allies faster inside a dome as well, from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. The dome does not protect players from ring damage, and even though it is absolutely fantastic, it's unbreakable, it protects you from all angles, it does have a massive blind spot that you need to be aware about. The dome's barrier ends in line with the level of the disc itself. Okay, so pay attention to this clip. I throw the disc on a hill, right? And then the dome comes out. See this blue thing here? That's the dome. Notice how the dome doesn't exist on this area. That is because that's the level where the disc is, and therefore that's where the dome stops. And with that being said, anything can go through this: bullets, grenades, arc stars, anything. So be mindful of this blind spot whenever you're using the dome, as well as look for this blind spot whenever an enemy squad deploys their dome shield. It even works well with Caustic's traps. Just place the traps next to the dome shield and no one will ever push you. And likewise, the shield can block any long-range attacks.
Here's a secret that the game does not want you to know at all. Gibby has a secret passive ability that allows him to pick up knocked teammates 25% faster while they are both inside the dome. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Then we have Gibby's ultimate ability, Defensive Bombardment. Gibby can call down an airstrike to rain absolute destruction onto his enemies. The missiles will drop continuously in a large area, has a 20-meter radius area of effect, and deals 40 damage per missile. Unlike Bangalore's ultimate ability, Defensive Bombardment does not slow enemies down and has a random missile drop pattern. The airstrike lasts for 8 seconds, has a 3-minute cooldown, and the missiles can also damage you. You gotta use a bit of IQ before you actually drop this ult. However, it is perfect for splitting enemy squads up or push enemies out of high ground. And if you have a Pathfinder in your squad, Gibby becomes even more useful. Find out in this video why.
Not only is Pathfinder one of the most useful legends in the game, he is also one of the most fun legends to play. He is literally Apex Legends Mobile's very own Spider-Man. But before you can do all the cool tricks with him, you really need to understand and practice his ability set first, because his grapple mechanics alone is a mini game on its own. Ooh, that rhymes. Don't worry though, guys. I know that's why you're here. You're looking for answers, right? Let's get to it then. I normally start my guides covering the passive abilities first, but for this one, I'll leave Pathfinder's passive right to the very end. It will make sense when we get there, I promise. Right then, let's start off with his tactical ability, Grapple. This is hands down the most fun ability in the entire game. Anyone's opinion that goes against this is irrelevant. Grapple shoots a grappling hook that pulls Pathfinder towards the surface the hook sticks to. The grapple has a range of up to 20 meters. You can use the left D-pad to curve to a specific direction. Also, you can hold the jump button while being pulled to propel yourself upwards. The cooldown's a little bit tricky though. The cooldown amount depends on how far Pathfinder travels. The further the distance traveled, the longer the cooldown will be. Pathfinder can also pull an enemy either towards him or both players into the middle, something that I'll have to cover in an advanced video for Pathfinder. The ring around your crosshair is an indicator telling you if the surface you're looking at is within grapple range. Blue means able to grapple, red means unable to grapple. And last but definitely not the least, you need to remember this, guys. The pull can be cancelled by pressing jump or the cancel button that pops out during the pull. So if you think you're pulling yourself towards danger, cancel it. Then we have Zipline Gun Ultimate. In short, you shoot a super long-range zipline out for everyone to use. It has a range of up to 150 meters, and everyone, including the enemies, can access the zipline. You can shoot the zipline onto any surface exactly like the grapple hook, meaning you can also attach it to vertical walls. And lastly, something that works really well alongside this passive ability, there is no maximum amount of ziplines Pathfinder can deploy. Now then, passive ability, Insider Knowledge. The reason why I left this till the end is because it directly impacts his ultimate ability. So, Recon Legends can all use this survey beacon to find the next ring location. That's standard. If you didn't know, well, now you do. But what makes Pathfinder's passive special is that every time he uses a survey beacon, his ultimate ability fully charges up, which is absolutely insane for rotation. He can deploy a zipline towards the beacon itself, use the beacon, deploy another zipline towards the new zone, use the same beacon again to have another fully charged ultimate before even moving out. This ability works so well with Gibraltar. Gibby and Path are actually one of the most paired up combos in Apex Legends Mobile. Path is great for traveling, Gibby is perfect for protecting his teammates while traveling. With Path's ziplines, squads can easily and quickly traverse through the map. After closing a gap using the zipline, Gibby can immediately drop his dome shield to protect his team. Absolutely incredible. You know what else is insane? How this video tells you why Pathfinder works really well with Mirage. Mirage is one of the most fun legends to play in Apex Legends Mobile. From his abilities to his voice lines, Mirage just oozes with fun gameplay vibes. However, he's not that easy to use. His abilities are really easy to activate, don't get me wrong. You just need to pre-plan a little bit before actually activating them for them to be effective. Put it this way, sending out his decoy right in front of an enemy won't work 9 times out of 10. But it's your lucky day. Your boy Ice has tons of experience playing as a Mirage main. So, buckle up, you're in for a treat. Starting off with his passive ability, Now You See Me. In basic terms, whenever Mirage revives a down teammate, both Mirage and his teammate becomes invisible after a couple of blinks for the duration of the revive. Enemies can still hit you both though, and once one of you gets hit, the invisibility ends. This passive also works when Mirage is using a respawn beacon. Upon using a respawn beacon, Mirage will blink a couple of times and then go invisible. And just like when reviving a teammate, you can still get hit, which subsequently cancels your invisibility. On top of this, whenever Mirage gets knocked down, a decoy will pop out and put on a dramatic show where it falls on its knees in pain, and meanwhile, Mirage himself will turn invisible for 5 seconds, allowing you to reposition to safety. Next, Psych Out, tactical ability. With this ability, Mirage can send out a copy of himself to trick enemies with. It has a 15-second cooldown, and there are 2 ways to use this ability. Number 1, Send and Stand. This is where you send a decoy to a specific location, and it will stand there when it reaches its player's destination. Number 2, copy movements. Send the decoy out to a specific location. Once the decoy reaches that location, it will start copying your exact movements. This button right here is the button that allows you to switch between send or stand or copy movements. Each decoy lasts for 1 minute and can be destroyed very easily as it only has 45 HP. Decoys can also be sent out up to 2 times when skydiving at the start of a match or by using one of these jump towers. During skydiving, if Mirage has teammates following him, exact replicas of those teammates will be sent out. And last but not the least, life of the party. Mirage's ultimate ability. This ability is one of the most annoying abilities to go up against in the entire game. Upon activation, Mirage goes invisible for 1 second. After 1 second, Mirage will pop back out alongside 5 decoys that copies his exact movements for 15 seconds until they disappear or get destroyed. Each decoy has 45 HP, and check this out. His ultimate ability only has a 1 minute cooldown. Absolutely ridiculous. One main thing that Mirage lacks though is movement abilities. This is why legends like Pathfinder is so great to go along with Mirage. Pathfinder can use his ultimate ability to set up a quick route for Mirage to do a push, allowing Mirage to close gaps very quickly and go in for an attack. Alright, I'm gonna give you guys a little secret. Mirage works incredibly well with Crypto's drone. Crypto can basically send out his drone to do some scouting for Mirage, and when he knows where the enemies are, Mirage can go in for a push, and right before he gets to the enemy, he can send his decoy out and confuse the hell out of his enemies and go in for an ambush. Here, watch this crypto guide and find out exactly how his drone works. Crypto is one of the most underrated legends in the game. Let's not hide that fact. Funny thing is, in the hands of the right person, Crypto is actually one of the best legends in the game. And on top of this, he has some of the coolest skins in the game as well. The problem is, he's relatively hard to get good with, and his entire ability set revolves around one thing, his drone, which is not exactly easy to control. So, you really need to understand how his drone works first. And lastly, he's more suitable to like a strategic type of player, and really there's not many of those around. And that's why you won't really hear much about Crypto. But hey, seeing as you're here, you might be interested, right? It's your lucky day. Your boy Ice is here to help you out with everything you need to know about the #1 surveillance legend in the game, Crypto. Let's get cracking then. Starting off with his passive ability, Neuralink. This ability is absolutely epic in every single way. Crypto and his teammates can see what his drone detects up to a 30-meter scan range from the drone itself. Scanned enemies and items are highlighted regardless of Crypto or his teammates' line of sight to them, which means even if there's an entire building in front of Crypto and the enemy, he'll still be able to see them once the enemy is scanned. However, the drone itself must be able to see whatever it's scanning without anything blocking its way. The drone can scan players, loot bins, doors, traps, and high-tier loot. And lastly, enemies are alerted with detected by drone message whenever they are scanned by the drone. This passive ability means absolutely nothing without his drone. And with that in mind, surveillance drone, his tactical ability. This thing is absolutely monstrous. Crypto can deploy and fully control a drone that can fly around and scan an area for various assets. The drone can fly up to a range of 200 meters away from Crypto, and if you fly more than 200 meters away, the drone will automatically be recalled. The drone will scan absolutely anything in its direct line of sight. Scanned assets will be highlighted for as long as they remain in a drone's scanning range and line of sight. Asset movements and existence are tracked in real time. And on top of this, you can even use the drone to interact with various interactable game assets, such as the drone opening doors, loot bins, and the drone can even collect team banners. And this is where things get even crazier. The drone can also go to a respawn beacon and scan your teammates back in instantly without having to wait for the time that it takes to use the respawn beacon. And the drone can also use the survey beacon instantly. This is absolute hacks, guys. It doesn't stop there either though. While flying the drone, all of Crypto's weapons will be automatically reloaded. The drone has 60 HP and can only be healed by recalling it. If the drone is destroyed, there will be a 40-second cooldown before you can deploy it again. If you manually recall your drone though, you can redeploy it without cooldown. The drone is also able to ping items at a range of 15 meters and enemies up to 150 meters. And here's how you can fully maximize the drone's scanning capabilities. Crypto can log out of the drone and it will stay at its current location and continuously scan the area. I told you his drone is insane. Octane. This ability is great to support assault legends such as Mirage, who has no movement abilities. Send a drone out, pinpoint the enemies, give Mirage to comms, the rest is history. And here's the cherry on top. Drone EMP ultimate ability. Crypto can use his drone to emit an electromagnetic pulse that damages and slows enemies down. The pulse will deal 50 shield damage to enemies within a 45-meter radius, as well as disabling traps such as Caustic's ultimate. With this thing, you can literally damage your enemy with Crypto being as far as 200 meters away. Actually, 245 meters if you fully maximize the drone's range. Great for damaging and disorienting your enemies before the fight even begins. Crypto is absolutely epic. His drone is truly one of the best things in the game right now. It even works extremely well with legends such as Wattson. Find out how in this video now. Wattson is one hell of a defense master. Get it? Ooh, I really need to stop making that joke. Anyway, Wattson is one of the best defensive legends in the game. The problem is, she's quite tricky to use. You definitely need to put your thinking cap on to figure out how to use and position her abilities well and make her work. But you're definitely in the right place. This guide will tell you everything you need to know about Wattson so you can create the best defenses the world has ever seen. Let's start simple. Spark of Genius, passive ability. First of all, using an ultimate accelerant fully recharges Wattson's ultimate ability. Wattson can also stack ultimate accelerants up to 2 per slot. Wattson automatically repairs her shield at a rate of 1 shield every 2 seconds, but she must have been out of combat for 5 seconds for the regen to start. And lastly, this regen stacks with the one that she gets from her pylon ultimate, which we'll cover later on in the video. Then we have her tactical ability, Perimeter Security. Wattson can create a network of electric fences that damages and slows enemies that goes through them. Wattson can carry up to 4 charges at once. Up to 12 nodes can be placed and linked, with each node cannot be having more than 20 meters apart to connect and create a fence. Each node could connect up to 2 different nodes max, with each node having 25 base HP. Pro tip, whenever you're placing down a node, try and have it as close as possible to a wall. This makes it harder to see and also harder to hit. And with each node only having 25 HP, hide it. You can also pick a node back up and gain a charge back. The fence will deal 15 damage per tick, and enemies are slowed when walking through a fence. And whenever an enemy walks through the fence, you will get a notification telling you exactly which fence was triggered. When in node mode, you know, when you're installing the nodes down, your weapon is fully holstered, which means you cannot shoot at all. So be very alert whenever you're installing your network of fences. The fence will temporarily turn off for 2 seconds whenever you or your teammates walk through them, but only the connection that you walk through, not the entire network. Wattson's fences works perfectly with Crypto in the team. Whenever you fenced up an area, ideally you want to stay inside it, but it was still nice to see who's on their way towards your castle, right? Well, Crypto can easily and safely deploy his drone from within inside your defenses and scout outside for enemies. Really great combo to use. Interception Pylon. This right here is an absolute beast. It's one of the simplest things in the game as far as mechanics go. Let's break it down, shall we? Wattson can deploy a pylon that will destroy any type of projectiles that comes close to it, as well as repair shield over time. The pylon will destroy any projectiles that comes close to it within an 8-meter radius around it, incoming and outgoing. And when I say projectiles, these are things such as like grenades, thermite, arc stars, and even the missiles that rain down from Bangalore and Gibraltar's ultimates. However, for example, if a grenade has already been thrown and it's already landed on the floor, when you put a pylon down, the pylon will not remove it. The pylon repairs shields at a rate of 5 shield per second, which also stacks on top of Spark of Genius passive ability. And one thing to note about the regen is not exclusive to your team, which means if an enemy player gets close to the pylon, they will also get a recharge for their shield. Wattson can have multiple pylons out at once, but the effects don't stack. Each pylon lasts for 3 minutes and can only repair a total of 250 shields. And here's where Wattson's tactical ability gets a massive buff. While within the pylon's range, Perimeter Security's cooldown drops from 30 seconds down to 3 seconds, which means Wattson can have a new node to place down every 3 seconds. And last but not the least on the pylon, it does not destroy devices such as Crypto's drone or Caustic's traps. This ultimate ability paired up with the likes of Bangalore makes the perfect defense. Once her pylon is out, Bangalore can very easily protect it with her tactical smoke ability, and with that, people literally have no way of pushing past your defenses. Find out more about Bangalore right here. Oh! Maple syrup won it! GG's!